As I say, we're on the 24th of August 2022, and it's just after 3 o'clock, and I'm sitting here wondering what to talk about. It should be a problem for me, but sometimes you do struggle, eh? Yeah, perhaps I was thinking that, what was I thinking, maybe? Cereal. You know, the box variety of cereal you get for breakfast cereal. I don't bother with it anymore. I just find it's not a necessary component really to start your day. Although I did eat cereal as a child. I was quite a fan of Frosties. I quite liked Frosties. And one of my brothers, he used to eat non-stop cornflakes at all times of the day, and I thought, well, that's not really the deal. It's meant to be. And we never had any milk in the house as a result, because he always used it for his cornflakes. But my oldest brother, but I don't think he eats cornflakes. I'm sure he must. He probably does, actually, if I think about it. He's got the kiddies and stuff. But yeah, cornflakes. I never liked cornflakes. I just thought once they were in the bowl, they were, and the milk added, they were just a soggy kind of mess, really, weren't they? And then there used to be a cereal called Icicles. I don't know if you get that anymore. No, not Icicles, Ricicles. I think they were a posh version of Rice Krispies, as I remember. And they're all made by the same company, of course, so I won't mention their name in case I start slagging them off. But and then Sugar Puffs, that was also quite good. Yeah, Frosties and Sugar Puffs were probably mine, but I actually preferred eating porridge. I preferred good healthy porridge to any cereal. Yeah, definitely did. But I didn't put salt or sugar or anything like that into it. Probably did a wee bit of sugar when I was really young, but I kind of came away from sugar. I don't like sugar. I try to avoid anything like that. But I suppose that if you consider all the types of cereals that you got, it's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? And lots of houses, I always refer to these status type things, but we didn't have any Tupperware. Well, we had some, but not huge amounts. But you know these families that have Tupperware, especially for cereal, and in a lot of hotels and that, you if you're staying for overnight and you've got breakfast included, they're quite fans of having either these little miniature boxes, you know, of cereal. I haven't seen them for a while, to be honest. But normally what they do is they stick them in the cereal in these purpose-made Tupperware. And I don't trust them, because I think that, you know, you have no idea how old the cereal in these Tupperware is. It could actually be years old. You just don't know. And that's the same as families, these, not saying middle-class families in this occasion, but certainly families who insist on having specified Tupperware containers for different cereals. They've got no idea unless they label the outside of when the Tupperware tub was filled. So what I'm saying is, just don't bother. Just stick the box in the cupboard. But I think what happens is houses are made so small nowadays that there's not enough cupboard space for these large packs of cereal. I know it's a problem for a lot of people having large boxes of soap powder and certain, you know, below the sink or whatnot. or wherever they keep their soap powder. But likewise, cupboard space is to a minimum now, and I think they have, it's not like the old houses where you had like some walk-in larders, or at least there was, plentiful larder space for items like cereal, boxed cereal. So the people who built these houses must have thought ahead and thought, well, one day we're going to need space between the shelves, because somebody's going to come out with a product called cereal, and they're going to put them in these big cardboard boxes. So let's make the shelves a bit bigger, and I think that's what's happened. But I just think about, sitting at the breakfast table as maybe if you're a child and your granny is, visiting grandmother or something like that, and granny says, well, do you want Weetabix? Or would you like Frosties? Or they've got some sugar puffs. Anything else, granny? Oh, we've got cornflakes or Rice Krispies. We've got Ricicles, and let me think. And we've got what else have we got now? I'm trying to think the bloody stuff myself. Oh, we've got stuff called Alpen. What's that? And then nobody actually knows what Alpen is until they take out the box, the packet, and discover it's the sweepings off the floor from something, with a few sultanas added, and what looks like dehydrated banana chopped up. But if you've ever sat next to somebody at a breakfast table who's eating muesli, I always think that it's like sitting next to somebody who like a squirrel or a chipmunk or something, nibbling away. And it's like, it's just, it's pretty off-putting if you're sitting opposite them and you've decided to have just fruit juice and maybe nicely cooked poached egg on toast or something like that, and you're sitting there and somebody else is sitting opposite, making all these weird expressions with their face, their chin going up and down and their cheeks bulging and shrinking at the same time as they're wading their way through the muesli. I'm just seeing it right now. Oh my God, that's just what I thought. I'm not ever eating muesli in company again. If I ever, I might eat muesli on my own, but definitely not in company. But I'm just thinking as well, I mean, obviously taking things to exaggeration, but say you were going through all the list of the available cereals, including Cocoa Pops and the likes of that. I think everything's made with chocolate now. No wonder the children are enormous, or many at least are enormous, having chocolate-covered cereal. I just think that's just a no-no. But I think in most households there's plenty of cereal, but there's no fucking milk. There's no milk for the cereal. And if there is any milk, it's probably that disgusting, horrible, greasy, slimy stuff that stacks every shelf of every supermarket and every corner shop in the land now. Because all the dairies have, they've either been gone bust or they've been bought over by these big, massive conglomerates, which charge the earth for their milk when they shouldn't be. I mean, we used to get milk at school, in primary school, free of charge. 1 pint of milk every single morning. No, it was it would be the equivalent of 500 millilitres, I think it was. Well, isn't 500 millilitres a pint? I can't remember. I think I'm losing my mind. But these were little small glass bottles with a little green and silver top, if I can remember now. And you peeled away the silvery top, and you put a straw inside the milk. some of the lads used to guzzle the milk straight from the glass, but I didn't. I was quite refined even as a young boy, and I like to take my time and savour things. And at that time, you used to get the at the top of the milk. Mind focus here. Level of the cream. I mean, the milk was pasteurised, but it was not like the crap nowadays, which is all greasy, slimy, and if you spill, or even if you don't need to spill the milk, just put it on a worktop and leave it for a few minutes, and then have a look and see what it looks like. That'll give you some indication of what's happening inside your body, drinking milk. But certainly milk is a good source of calcium. There is an argument to say that milk is actually not any good for anybody because it's not required, because it's actually only there for children, including the cattle. When they have the calves obviously feed from their mother milk. Well, it's the same as children. They should be feeding from their mother, breastfeeding I'm talking about, and there should be no requirement for any milk whatsoever in life. It's not essential. It's not an essential component of day-to-day living, because there's other sources of calcium you can use. But milk seems to be, I think it was a marketing ploy once more. But I mean, people have obviously drank milk for centuries, but it's probably because there was nothing else available. But what the argument is, I'm saying here is, milk is actually just for bringing children until they're able to eat solids. That's the whole point, and that includes for any animals as well. So when you buy milk, you don't need milk. You don't need milk in your tea or coffee, and you certainly don't need it for anything but cereal. You see where I'm coming from? It's really just a combined marketing ploy to part with more of your money. But there's a lot of fun involved with eating cereal, and listening to the noise of the cereal when the milk is poured to it. That brings back a lot of memories. And I'm just wondering here, I'm just thinking, I wonder if there's any connection between, let me focus my camera. I wonder if there's any connection between misuse of drugs in the 20th and 21st century because of cereal. Shall I explain what I mean? Probably best to. Well, you think of the most people are too young to remember the adverts from the late 60s and certainly the 70s with that international conglomerate who produced most of the world's boxed cereal for breakfast. Well, they had for Rice Krispies a advertising slogan and logo, which it was on their cardboard boxes as well, so you could sit and read it as well as hear it when you added milk to your cereal in the morning if you were having Rice Krispies. And the logo was snap, crackle and pop. And that's exactly what it did. And I think that terminology, it does what it says on the box, actually rings true with this Rice Krispies thing. But what I mean about the fact, if you were on snap, crackle and pop, enthusiast by eating Rice Krispies as a child, what is the chances that when you grow into adulthood, you suddenly want to hear about smack, crack and pot? there's a good chance that there's some kind of connection between the two. So if you're into smack or crack or pot, then or Weetabix. Yeah, because that looks like the smoking variety of cereal, that Weetabix. But I mean, it is a thing to consider, isn't it? I mean, who knows? Maybe that was the whole point. I don't know, Andrew. I think your imagination runs away with you sometimes, boy. But that bus that passed there. That's obviously lost, because normally they're frequent flyers on the A82 heading up towards Glencoe. And you meet them everywhere in the West Highlands, these buses. They come from Edinburgh, but they never come down through this glen. So the word must get out. Maybe my YouTube channel has got to somebody who drives and said, listen, there's a chap who sits at Amulree doing nothing else except speaking to his camera. And he has shown some wonderful views. So let's go there. Mind you, in saying that, a lot of people come into this car park and they ask me lots of questions, and it's quite nice to be able to share what I know. And yeah, it's a good feeling, that. But then going back to cereal, nothing worse than cereal, and I think I mentioned it a previous time, maybe never loaded it, because most of what I say in these cameras never get loaded anyway. I just talk. But in the olden days when there was no fridges, I mean, I'm talking in my living memory, when my granny used to keep their milk during the summer months in a pail of water at the bottom of the larder. And that was the done thing by most people, because nobody had refrigerated units in the property. So often, if you didn't have that kind of know-how and you just bought milk and you had no fridge, it didn't last very long. And there's nothing worse than the taste of sour milk anyway, but certainly the taste of sour milk on top of your cereal. Horrid. But yeah, we did have cereal, but not in huge amounts. And I think I've only tasted ricicles probably about once or twice in my life. It's just not something we got. But I was so pleased that I tasted Frosties and Sugar Puffs. But I don't see the point in them anymore, because they don't actually do anything, do they? There's no real health benefit to them at all. They say there's all these vitamins and minerals added. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I don't want to argue with the people, but it just seems a very costly way of getting your vitamins and minerals. You'd be better having a carrot for your breakfast.